All right, we have a new product that we're excited about. We got some Cava. And how did we discover Cava, Andy Bell? How did we stumble upon it?
I don't remember.
It's a trick question.
I don't remember, actually. Well, I guess because we aren't drinking alcohol this year, so we were looking for alternatives.
Yeah, and we went to Cava Bar in Davis and had some Cava and actually didn't like it. Tasted disgusting.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
And it took a while. It took an adjustment period to try to get used to it. But it was still just like foul tasting all the way to the point where it gives you the willies. But after a little while, after going there a couple times, we did notice that we liked the impact and the effect of Cava, and so we started to look into making our own Cava, and this Cava actually tastes good.
Yes, it does.
So we're gonna mix some up to show you guys the way that we normally do it. It's really easy. Cava does normally come in like a powder, and it's more fat soluble than it is water soluble, so it mixes about as well as cinnamon does. And so when you try to mix it into water, it just sort of sits there and gets all bubbly and weird. And again, it just tastes disgusting.
Yeah, and well, I was going to say, in our Cava journey, I went online to try and find a bunch of, before we started making our own, I went online to try and find if there's Cava RTDs or Cava, just what you can get it in, and most of it is powder form, and it does not taste very well because it's not flavored. So the powdered Cava is just the raw Cava, which tastes a little bit like dirt mixed with like something that went bad. So it's really not good, but we were able, if you find an extract, which is what this is, it's created differently than the powder, so they're able to extract it. So it's the, I think it's called the Cava lactones, which is what's in here.
There's 500 milligrams in there.
500 milligrams in here, and that's really what gives the Cava its little buzzy effect. And then we added flavor to it, so it tastes, it doesn't have that dirt flavor. It still numbs your mouth and does all the things that the powders do, just a little more palatable. So that's what we like it. So we'll start with some ice.
Whoa.
Whoops.
Throw a little ice in there, and then just take whatever your favorite beverage is. You like Coke Zero or
Let's add the Cava first.
Sprite or something like that, whatever it is that you like. We can dump some Cava in there. I'm gonna do like half and half, so a little bit here. I got like a special mixing
Ooh, I like to just go
style.
for it.
And then this is a brand that I really like a lot. I like this drink, Perfy. You can see the calories here on the back. It's a great product made with just natural fruit juices. So it does have a little bit of carbohydrate in there, but there's not a lot of sugar.
And I like to mix mine with just club soda. So it has 0 calories, 0 everything, and gives it a little fizzy. And I think, and so our flavor is tropical. So when you get it all mixed in, it just tastes like a tropical spritzer. So it's really good. And I think it tastes, yeah, yummy. So I don't need flavored drink.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah?
Let's go over to the couch.
Okay.
Hey, I need to throw my other. You can throw 2 in there? 2
I already
banger?
did throw 2 in there.
Make it a real one? Wow, getting towards the edge.
Is that 1 or 2?
2.
Oh, perfect.
Maybe a little bit more on that. Burp.
Getting shit-faced. Did you put any club soda in yours or just the Perfy?
Just a Perfy. So we used to do this with wine. We would just sit in this room over here and kind of hang out, chat, shoot the breeze.
In this year of not drinking, I feel like it's really changed how we even take our vacations. Because a lot of times in the past, when we would go out, I would always be thinking about like, where are we going to go to dinner, and are they going to have a good wine list, and you know, like, and sometimes you want to, when you're on vacation, you want a day drink, but then it kind of goes into the evening. And as I get older, I've noticed that, at least prior to this year, when I would have a glass of wine or something earlier in the day, then my whole day is shot. And I can't really, you know, I need to take a nap, or, you know, you're not motivated to do anything after. So it's nice to have Cava, even if you have it in the daytime, it's out of your system within like 45 minutes to an hour.
I'm still going to run later today.
Exactly, so. And I could do a Peloton workout later and I'll still feel exactly fine.
Not really the same with alcohol. It's
no,
not that
not
you
at all.
couldn't
No.
do anything, but it'd be difficult.
No. Well, that's why I would work out in the morning, because I would be like kind of planning my day around when I'm going to have that first drink, because then your day's done. And if you do it the earlier, and it was getting earlier and earlier for me, and it was kind of like becoming a concern. So the fact that, once I got that out of my system, and we didn't really even find Cava until a few months ago. So it's not like I went right from wine to Cava. I had a nice break of nothing to really kind of reset my system. And so I think that when people are looking for alcohol alternatives, it's important to reset your system. So really go off everything for a little while and then find other things, because I think that's important. And my friends, like my sister and her husband, are looking for alternatives. And I told them, I said, well, let's spend a day where you don't drink, like you're not drinking in the afternoon or in the evening. You're just going to try the Cava or whatever, because I think if you mix in alcohol later or before, it's you're not going to really understand the effects of Cava, because they aren't the same as alcohol. They're a little more mild. So if you have Cava and then you go, oh, okay, that was cool, and then you start drinking, I think it's not really given it a chance. And I think you really need to kind of decide, okay, for this week, I'm going to just have Cava, in the evening, or just to really understand how it's going to make me feel.
Yeah, for me, I never really cared that much about alcohol.
Right.
But I did enjoy it, especially enjoyed it a lot with you, and we would go to dinner. But I told you at one point, I was like, it doesn't really feel like it does anything for me or to me unless I have an empty stomach.
Right.
And I don't even like to have an empty stomach anyway, too much. I like food, I like to eat, and I like to enjoy my food, and alcohol and food was just like
right.
weird.
Yeah, once we started eating, it was like, what's the point of drinking along with it?
Yeah, like I just didn't have much of the impact. I was like,
Right.
it's really doing nothing, and I'm kind of having 2 or 3 or 4 drinks for kind of no reason, since you're not getting like drunk from it, even at that point. And then I just never loved it personally, so for me, it wasn't hard to switch over to Cava, and I think it's a good alternative.
Right.
But I think for most people, I think it's a good idea for them to maybe recognize that it might just be a good other option.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to replace it. Not everyone has an alcohol problem. Some people drink and they're fine.
Right.
But for other people that are just looking to do something a little bit different, or they have other health concerns and they don't want to drink alcohol and they want to shift to something different, I think Cava is it.
Yeah, and I think that was the motivation for me too, because when I decided earlier this year to stop drinking, it was for many things. It was for my health, and I was trying to lose weight. I was trying to just feel better, because I just started to kind of feel, not great. And I don't know if that was all because of alcohol, probably not. It was probably many things, but after getting rid of alcohol, I was working out more, I started lifting, I was just a little more motivated to do other things. I don't know, I think it's all a big cycle. So it's like when you start to kind of get to a point where you're drinking less, or stop thinking about it so much, or like I said, planning your day around it, your day becomes a lot fuller with other things. And that was kind of a benefit too, plus the calories and the bad decisions that happen when you drink in the day, and then you go and like, oh, let's just go get Mexican food, and you don't care. But I think that you and me together, our diet has gotten better, and you always work out, but I started lifting this year, which was something new, and that's been nice. I got the Peloton, started doing that.
And then you instantly got jacked.
Well, no, it took a while.
It's bullshit. It took like 6 months.
Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, I think for all those things, it has been fun. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is giving it a chance for people that are looking for an alternative, like you said, not just because they think they have a drinking problem, or they think they drink too much. If they just want to pivot and just take a different path, this is an awesome time right now for people that are looking for alternatives, because I mean, you can't go on Instagram without seeing a THC drink or a Cava drink or all these other things that are alternatives. And I think you just have to find what works for you. I tried those THC drinks and I didn't really like them, but that's just me, and some people love them. But I just didn't like how they feel. So I just love that there's options. And I think that's important.
I think it's bizarre that there's not other options. I think it's weird that you go to a restaurant
Right.
or you go to, I guess a bar, I can understand. I mean, that's kind of their goal is to sell alcohol, but they still don't have there's no other option.
Right.
And I think when people try Cava, they're not going to be like, oh, this is like alcohol. I don't think it seems like it's like alcohol.
No.
And I don't want people to be disappointed. I think alcohol delivers a certain type of feeling, and that feeling can be awesome. And I think that can, like I've always said, I think alcohol can be utilized sometimes to enhance a moment. You have like a great moment with somebody.
Right, celebrating.
It can make stuff a little bit more fun. People tend to be a little bit more bored, like if they know they're going to like someone's party that doesn't drink.
Right.
You know, there's no
or a dry wedding.
Yeah, right. People just kind of automatically assume that it's got to suck, but
yeah.
Okay, well maybe it shouldn't suck only because of alcohol or
Right.
not, but
or it shouldn't only be fun because of alcohol.
but maybe there's just other options.
Right.
That's kind of the way I look
Well,
at it.
I thought it was interesting when you and I started doing a little more research, and we did, Cava comes mainly from Fiji, which when you look, I was like, where's Fiji? I didn't even know.
We're going.
It's a tiny island. But in Fiji, there's more Cava bars than alcohol bars. And I thought that was amazing.
They prefer it, yeah.
Because they prefer it. And when you do a deep dive on Cava, you find that it's just been around for ages and ages and ages, and it was used in ceremonies and celebrations and all those things. And there's ceremonies around it in Fiji. When you go, it's the first thing, you get a Cava welcoming ceremony when you go to these resorts and stuff. And I thought, how cool is that to have that be your introduction, because it is something that you'll probably be like, oh, this is awful, but I think you brought it up a few weeks ago when we were talking about getting over that Cava shock of how bad it is. But when you first drink alcohol, everyone, oh, it's disgusting. Like, you have to learn to like it. And I think people forget that.
Yeah, your first sip of alcohol is at like 8.
Right, and it's gin.
So you get introduced to it, at a pretty young age, and then you get used to it as you get older. And then it's also cool, right? Like alcohol is supposed to be this cool thing, and so.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're going to have, apple juice or wine, apple juice is going to taste better if you're really honest with yourself. And so I think with Cava, people just need to remember that, alcohol, when you first tried it, you thought it was totally disgusting too. And then you kind of learn to like it because of the effects that it has on you, which is similar to Cava. But anyway, so I think you and I were talking about our next big trip will be to Fiji, and bonus, it's on the way to Australia if you fly there from California. So we could add in a Sydney trip. It's like 4 hours to Sydney. So I think that would be really fun to go to Fiji and even see like more the culture of it being just part of people's everyday life. Instead of here where it's just like, every time we travel, we search for a Cava bar and it's so hard to find. We're so lucky that there's one here in our hometown, but they're very few and far between, which is interesting. Hopefully they'll start picking up and there'll be more because they are such a nice alternative, but you never know.
People say that some people that are obese, they say that they have food noise, and they say that like Ozempic and some of these things have helped people with
reducing that.
Yeah, reducing that noise. Do you think you had alcohol noise?
Oh, probably. I think that
because you mentioned you thought about it a lot, even in regards to like where we're going, when, and who's going to be there,
100%,
sort of thing.
Yeah, and
so you attach that. I do the same thing with food. I still do the same thing with food. Always.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that creeps up on you and you don't even realize you're doing it, because even something as simple as going to Quinn's volleyball tournaments.
Just going to the beach.
Or going to the beach. Well, I'd pack, when we go to the beach, I'd pack a bottle of wine, because I'm like, well, we're going to be down there for a few hours, and it'll be around, 4 o'clock by the time we leave, and we could have a cocktail, and it's not great. It's if you
then
do
you have
that
to have it at the ball game, and you have to have it here, and it's not like you only do these things once in a while.
Right. So once
celebrating
you
a lot.
Get it out of your system, it is nice to be able to go somewhere and not even look at the wine. I don't even look at the wine list when we go out to dinner. I don't even, it's just not an option. And I think that's what a lot of people that were in my position, where you're not an alcoholic, but you definitely are drinking every day, or you're drinking,
You're hypnotized a little bit by alcohol.
Yeah, and I think that, that I have a ton of friends that are in that boat, and they get defensive if you bring it up, that's a sign that, okay, maybe that's not you don't have a good relationship with it. And then it's so funny because
I think people are addicted though. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, people are addicted to everything. But when I tell people I'm not drinking, I think everyone assumes like, oh, what happened?
Something happened.
Yeah, where'd you wake up?
You fall down a flight of stairs?
Yeah, you wake up and, so you don't remember where you were the next night. But it wasn't even that. It was just a decision. And I think that it's weird. I was watching an Instagram video the other day where a guy was talking about how he doesn't drink alcohol, and he launched right into an explanation of why. And it's like, why do we feel the need to have to explain it? You shouldn't have to. It should just be like, oh, yeah, okay. So you do other things or you do nothing. It doesn't matter. But it is a thing. Like if you're our age, it's just part of your life. And I didn't realize how big a part of it is for my life. I mean, I sort of don't have some friends that I had before because it was so much part of friendships, and it was like, gosh, that's not healthy. So,
How long did you drink for?
Well, I mean, I actually didn't drink until college. So when I got into college, I started going, to bars, and I hated the taste of alcohol, so I just did shots. That's all I did for 4 years. It was awful. And then I started drinking beer and kind of liked beer. And I didn't start drinking wine until probably my late 20s. So probably a good 20-something years of not every day, but I mean, when I met you at a bar. And I definitely was drinking a lot on weekends, and it was like, oh, Friday night, we're going out kind of thing. But then I think probably after I had kids, you get into that, like the whole book club,
Mom thing.
The mom thing. You have wine at lunch on a Friday, then that turns into wine at lunch on a Thursday. And it just started creeping in where it was then every day I'm making dinner and having a glass of wine, and that would turn into 2 or 3. And so it was probably like that for a good couple of years, maybe 4 or 5 years even, maybe a subtle buildup. But last year was not good. I mean, last year I definitely felt like it was an everyday thing, and not where I get blackout drunk. I haven't been blackout drunk since probably my 20s, but it was definitely not, I just wasn't feeling good. I'd wake up, I swim at 5:30 at 6 in the morning, and I was waking up sometimes not wanting to go to swim practice. When you start not wanting to do the things you love, I think that's definitely a sign to be like, I need to reevaluate what's going on.
Was it hard?
Well, last year I did dry January, and that wasn't hard, but then I just got right back into my old habits. So this year I decided, leading up to it, I was going to do dry January again, but sometime around like Thanksgiving, Christmas time, I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to not drink the whole year and see. Almost to prove to myself that I can not drink the whole year, or else I'd be like, if I can't do it, then maybe I have a problem that is worse than I thought. And it wasn't hard, because I think with a lot of people, it's like doing the carnivore diet or doing a certain thing. You just have to go all in. And once, about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, when you hit that 2 month, then it was, the first few weeks you do think about it, but you don't even, it's just not an option anymore. So when you take it away, then you just stop thinking about it.
I think things like that could be really hard when you don't have another option.
Yeah, well, and you just change your routine.
Yeah.
And so in the evenings,
when you have something else to sip on, when everybody else is sipping on something.
I buy so much Coke Zero and Dr. Pepper Zero, so I'd have drinks in the evening. I started trying to just change my habits. So instead of a glass of wine, I have tea or something like, and it sounds stupid, but it does help. But that's, I think, what helped me stick to it. And then by now, I mean, it's almost September, and yeah, I mean, I've had a little bit, like we went on a food tour and you and I had a glass of wine, and I was just like, meh, yeah, I think that because I've gone so far without it, and I feel good, and then I found Cava, I feel like now I don't really need to go back, even though I will, have it be an option if I want it, but I don't even know if I want it, But of course, a glass of champagne, if we're doing something or something like that, would be nice. We're going to Norway and Paris. We're going to be in Paris, obviously, I'm going to probably have some champagne in Paris. We're going to the fancy dinner and it's maybe a wine pairing. I'm not even sure. But those types of things are fine, but it doesn't need to be part of my everyday. And that's kind of where I'm getting to, I think.
Yeah, I've even changed my interpretation of even going out to dinner for the most part. Like rather than just putting all the weight on the food.
Yeah.
And it's just the experience of being with other people.
Right.
And you start to change and shift. So that's why I eat a lot of times before we go out to eat, so that I'm satiated and I'm not at the restaurant super hungry, mad that it's taking too long. Oh my God, this is supposed to be medium rare. And it's medium, and I ordered a baked potato and they gave me mashed potatoes.
Well, and even alcohol's like that. Like I remember going out with my girlfriend sometimes and you get there and if the waiter doesn't get there right away to take your
refill
wine order, you start to get annoyed. Like, where's the waiter? And my wine's down low. And I'm like, that's...
You're messing up your buzz.
And then you're all pissed. Like, oh, well, I would have needed that an hour ago. And it's just all... It's all kind of negative. There's not really a lot of positive to
Now you just walk
wine.
around with our little KAVA shot in your pocket and you take it anywhere and just dump it right into your soda at the bar.
Well, I have actually taken the KAVA shots with me in my purse, and you can dump it into, I get a club soda, and I dump it in a club soda like I made this, or I dump it into iced tea. It tastes amazing in
really
iced tea.
Good iced tea.
I've dumped it into regular water. It's fine in regular water too. It's definitely adds to the experience of that light little buzz,
What's the feel? Yeah, what's the feel of KAVA for you?
The way it makes me feel is I equate it to that first glass of wine or that first cocktail feeling, but it just stays there. And to me, that's the best glass of wine is the first one. So if you can find something that duplicates that and then never gets more than that, it's kind of perfect, because that's exactly what I like about drinking is that first one. And you're kind of chasing that anyway when you're drinking wine, and then you just get drunker, and then it's not good. So with KAVA, and I like that it's kind of fleeting. Like it only lasts, like this gives you a little buzz. It only lasts maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then you can have another glass and repeat the filling. And I could drive, I can work out, I could go, take a conference call if I needed to. Like you're still...
I personally have never noticed a hangover from it either.
No, I haven't either. Yeah, no, I've never felt anything from that. I mean,
So KAVA's kind of calming, relaxing, like
a little buzz. I wouldn't say high, because I don't feel high. But I don't feel high when I drink.
Yeah, I've felt high off it, especially when you go to the KAVA bar and have if I down the cloud breaker.
I still call that like a buzz. Like I feel like a buzz.
Yeah.
It gives your mouth some numbing, which adds to it. I've had some drinks that have kratom and KAVA, and I like that combo too, but I like to kind of, I like to limit my kratom throughout the day, so I don't want to get too much, because that does make me feel a little more altered.
All right, well that explains a bunch of our KAVA journey. Just wanted to kind of share that information with you guys. And if you want to pick up some KAVA, you can go over to mindbullet.com. Catch you guys later.